Hello. So welcome back to the new video, and today we are just continuing the series that we are just making the basic, making the logic with Python series. So if you're following this series, or if you're not, if you're a beginner or anyone else, and if you want to improve your logics, so this series would be very helpful for you. So today the task of today is related to functions in Python. So let's see what is the task of the day. So it would be helpful for you to improve your logic in coding, because logic in coding is the most important thing, because without your logic building you can't even write the code, right? So it is very important. So let's see what's the task of the day. Write a function selected prime. So selected prime is a function name that prints all the prime numbers less than 1000. So this function would print the all the prime numbers less than 1000. What are the prime numbers? Prime numbers are those numbers which are divisible by themselves or maybe 1. So these are the known as the prime numbers. So for now, that contains the digit 2 or 3 or both. Organize your code to use two functions. The first one takes an integer as an argument, returns true if the number is prime and false otherwise. The second function checks if an integer contains the digit 2 or 3 or both. So this is the task, and let's see what we have to do here. So first we have to just organize this code to using two functions. The first one takes an integer as an argument, returns true if the number is prime and false otherwise. So let's just make um, a function def is prime, right? And it just, there is an argument number that is integer, and now what we have to do, we have to check if it is a prime number. So I have to just make a for loop num plus 1, and here we go. So this, what does this for loop check? It will check if whether this number is prime or not. So for this I need to apply a condition num, if num is I equals to 0. So what this conditions means that if the number is like divisible by I and the remainder is 0, then it means that this number is a prime number. What does it mean? For I will start with 1. So if there is a number that is maybe 2, so this condition would be false. So the 2 will be divisible by 1, and would it be the remainder 0, then um, it would be considered as either a prime number or not. So this is the main logic behind this. So what we have to check in a prime number, as I told you before, that a prime number is divisible by itself and 1. So there are two conditions that a prime number will be divided. Either it is completely divisible by 1 or itself, then the remainder becomes 0. So what we have to check, that the count, I have to just initialize a count. So we have to count that whether it is, so I've just initialized the count 0, and I have to just count it for 2. If this number is divisible by I, and if it is divisible by I and the remainders become 0, if this happens 2 times, then the it would be considered as a prime number. So I just count plus equals to 1. What does it means? That it will just add a 1 in that count variable. I could even write this like this, count plus 1. So this is also the same thing, but for short we can write it plus equals to 1, right? So this is the one thing. So here it is. Now what the next thing is, I have to just return it whether it is a prime number or not. So I'm just returning if the count is like equals to 2. So what does it mean? Like if the count is equals to 2, that means that this is a prime number. And what does this condition do? That if the count is equals to 2, it will either print true or it will print false, right? So if this condition is true, so it will print true, or if it is false, then it will surely print false, right? So so this is the main function that will be checking whether the number is prime or not. So the second function is the second function is checks if an integer contains the digits 2 or 3 or both, right? So the integer that we have checked here is a prime number, right? Now we have to check that either that integer or number has a 2 or 3 value, for instance, I'm just writing this, either it is 23, so it contains 2 and 3 both, so it could be a prime number, right? If it is 25, so it could be like that. So if that is a prime number and it is just like 27, it contains 2 but not 3, so it is also a prime number. So we have to just collect those prime numbers which contains 2 or 3 in them. So to check this one is def, I'm just making another function, and in that function I'm just giving the same argument, that is the integer, the same one. So I just return. So I have to just check this if the 2 or 3 is present in there, in that integer. So how can I check this? So I have to just typecast it into string in str num, right? So the only way to check a character in either an integer or float, we have to just typecast it into a string so that we can check that character if it's present in that or not. And I'm just using the OR operator so that this one condition and the other that I'm going to write will be checked. The next thing is 3 in string number, right there. So these two conditions, either one of them is, so this OR operator is used because if either one of them is true, then it will consider as a true value. So we have just completed these both things, and now what we have to do, we have to just make the third and the last function, that is the selected prime. And I'm not going to just put any kind of argument in there. So this is the selected prime that prints all the prime numbers less than 1000 that contain 2 or 3 digit or both, right? So what how can I print all these numbers? I'm just using the for loop for I in range, and for less than 1000, so 1 and 1001. So I'm using 1001 because the for loop is end on the one number less than the total end value. So yes, I'm just using this thing. So this is the thing, and now I'm just making this condition if is prime, right, is prime I. I'm just putting that I loop in this function, right, and is value this function and putting the same argument. So what I'm doing here, that I'm just checking this, and if is prime like this one, if it is giving the true value, like if it is true, and is value this one is also true, because it will also throw the same thing that it does, like it will, this condition will also like throw the same thing, true or false, right? So if this one is true and this one is also true, then it will be printing print I. So it will just print that number. So if it's 1, then if it is true, it's true, then it will print 1. So it will surely give the false one, because at 1 is not a prime, so it will just false. And if it's true, so true, this will be true, and this will also be true. So let's just run this and just see what it does. Alright, so I haven't just called this function. I need to call this function here. I'm just copying and pasting. Yes, the function is called. Now I have to just run this function, and let's see. Look at this. I hope that you just like this. So here we go. 2 3 1 3 2 3 2 9. These all are the these all are the prime numbers, right? So these all are the prime numbers. Also, they are containing the 2 or 3 in them. So this is the first thing that you need to understand. This was the requirement of the problem. Let's see. Everything 2 3 2 3. So each number is containing the 2 3 in it. So this was the required condition of the question. So I hope that you have learned something new and you are just getting the concept in this question. So if you like this video, just do subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends who are learning Python or who are having the problems in logic building while coding. So thank you very much.